Well, if you're like me, you are a Bullseye fan now because episode 5 was incredible. Episode 4 was really great too. The season's just been really great, and I love pretty much all the characters. So let's sort of talk about where the end of the last episode left off. Vanessa Fisk was attacked. We assume she died, and that pretty much brings us to the beginning of episode 5. We learn that she is in critical condition, not dead yet. So what I figured was going to happen ended up happening, but it was still, I think, interesting. So basically, we have an episode that kind of, I think it just kind of respected where the show came from. I'm trying to figure out how to word it. It felt like a season 1 episode in the best way. It was really, really, really good. So we got pretty much I'm going to say four stories. So we're going to sort of do this episodically. Let's just take one at a time. Buck and Daniel. Daniel was approached by BB saying, hey, I know Vanessa Fisk is here. How is she? She needs to give her source or something. And Daniel doesn't want to tell her. He caves. He does. And she leaks it. It doesn't say she's the one that leaked it, but it gets leaked in pretty much the next couple scenes that everyone knows where Vanessa Fisk is. And Daniel's basically like, oh, I guess this was my fault. And Buck approaches Daniel saying, let's go for a drive. And the whole episode, you're just getting this eerie feeling that Buck is ready to kill him. And I guess maybe he was. But where the episode goes is in a direction you don't really expect. He ends up telling Daniel he basically suspects him of leaking the information in so many words. And so he takes Daniel to this place where Buck goes in and says, no, you stay in the car. He comes back with his drill and the shovel, puts in the trunk, and Daniel's like, this guy's going to kill me. So as they're driving to this pretty much just spot in the woods, Daniel's begging for his life. He said, whatever it is, I didn't do it. I'm really sorry for whatever it is. And he has his quivering lips. I mean, his acting's really good. He's on the verge of begging for his life because really he is. Buck takes him to the trunk to find a dead body, saying, okay, shovel or drill. And so Buck is sort of playing with his mind the whole episode. And then in the end, he's like, okay, do you want to be committed? Here, now you're going to do this. So I interpret that as this. Daniel has sort of been not brought into the fold entirely. He believes Fisk is trying to do good. He's been sort of radicalized or corrupted or whatever word you want to use. Or I think he really believes Fisk is trying to do the right thing. But now, with his body, Buck has and says, basically bury him. Daniel now has been shown the darker side of the Kingpin. He now knows Buck is in on it, and now he knows he's just been brought into it too. So I think Buck's character, or Daniel's, is going to get more interesting moving forward. Buck, we got a little bit of backstory with, and it was really interesting, and we'll get to that in a moment. So the next part of this episode is Vanessa Fisk and Kingpin. We're getting glimpses from the present where Vanessa wakes up and she and Fisk are having dialogue, and we're seeing sort of the first opening night where we're getting a backstory for the night that Vanessa and Wilson met. And so we're getting a little bit of both of their sides of how that meetup was by chance, but also forced on both of their sides as well, where Buck and Wesley from season 1 actually met up. So Buck was his contact back then, and so Buck's been in the fold for a long time, and we got to see Vanessa sort of happier, we saw more of her simple life, and it was just kind of neat to see because at the end of this episode, she does flatline, and doesn't say she died, but that is very much the assumption we get. Which brings us to our next point. At the end of episode 4, there's this figure that many fans spotted and assumed it was the Watcher. And so, you couldn't tell. It kind of looks like the lights from the room. I think it was meant to be like a duality kind of thing where it is lights in the room, but also looks like the Watcher. So Brad Winterbaum, I believe I said his name correctly. I guess he's the head of Marvel TV. He confirmed, I think. My sources aren't credible. That's just what I'm seeing. A lot of people are saying online is confirmed, supposedly. that he said that is indeed the Watcher. And so there's two things. One, with Vanessa Fisk dead, we have the chance to have a very neat version of the Kingpin. One, he's going to be darker. He is very much going to be much, much darker than we've seen him, I believe. Two, if you look at the Spider-Verse movies, Fisk, the Kingpin, he was the villain in the first one. He was just looking for Vanessa. He was tearing a hole through the universe as looking for Vanessa. Okay, so what does that have to do with anything? Well, Alchemax, I guess, is a current, or not current, I guess that's part of Fisk's story in the comics now and then. And another thing we have to look at as well is, one, he could very much be partly responsible for maybe some of what's happening in Doomsday and or Secret Wars, if he's going to tear a hole through the universe and stuff. So another line, which I believe was from episode 3, where Vanessa and Fisk are talking, and Vanessa asks him, how many worlds do you want to conquer? And he says, how many are there? I don't know if that was a nod to Kang. I don't know if that was a nod to he's taken over for Kang's storyline, or if that's because he's about to do the Alchemax thing, or he's going to go through these universes. He's going to conquer one after another looking for Vanessa. I don't know. Even if it doesn't go down the multiverse route, I still think, in fact, that his character is going to become darker, looking for Bullseye and Daredevil and all vigilantes in general. I think everything is going to be ramped up. It's going to be more intense, more violent, and I'm just looking forward to every part of it. Now we have our main characters on the other side. We have Bullseye and Daredevil, who both escaped Vanessa and Fisk's grip at the end of the last episode. Pretty much in the present, Daredevil is fighting the whole time whether or not to save Bullseye. Bullseye is basically saying, let me die, just leave me alone. I killed Foggy, this is justice. And Daredevil's point of view is, I tried to kill you, so now I have to save you. This is real justice. And they're just fighting back and forth. And in the end, toward the episode, we see him leave. He leaves Bullseye, so we're like, all right, this is it. This is the end of Bullseye's character. Then in classic climactic format, he comes back, reaches a hand, Bullseye takes his hand, they get up and go and get out of there just before the task force arrives. So now Bullseye's saved, which I think for Bullseye fans was the most relieving moment, that not only are we going to see more of the character in this show and in this franchise, but more from the actor as well, because he's had such an incredible delivery of the character, especially in this show, in this season specifically, I would argue. And so we also get scenes from the past as well. Not from Bullseye, but with Matt and Foggy, which is really cool to see Foggy again. Basically, in the past, Foggy and Matt are representing this client that used to be someone Foggy knew, who is bullying him and is a crap guy and probably doesn't deserve their help. But Foggy is on the tangent of it's the right thing to do, so we gotta help him out, period. And Matt's like, well, why? He doesn't see the point in it, but Foggy does. So I think the fact that Foggy found the good in someone that was so cruel to him, I think that's where Matt finds the strength to save Bullseye, despite what he did to Foggy. And so at the end of the episode, we really see he brings Bullseye to him and Karen's hideout, saying, hey, a little help. And Karen looks like that's the last thing she wants to do. And it's kind of comedic to a point because, yeah, no one would expect your character to help out Bullseye, but that's where the three of the characters are at right now. So if Bullseye is healed and he's actually going to help out in the episodes moving forward, I think that'd be the coolest thing in the world. I mean, I think a lot of fans, I don't know how many Marvel fans prefer this, but I think when you have a show and you have a villain and a hero, and then you have now a worse villain, that villain and hero having to team up against the new bigger villain, that's always exciting. That's sort of what The Boys has done before. We've seen that in Star Wars so many times before. It's been done in DC, especially with Batman so many times before. If we get to see that with Bullseye and Daredevil against Kingpin, I think that would be really, really interesting. Bullseye did what he wanted. He had one good deed, killed who he wanted. That's penance, that's justice. But now he's saved by Daredevil. So now he has a chance to see things and do things Daredevil's way. And if he has this redemption arc, which I'm hoping that's what this is, I think it could be, in my opinion, the most interesting storyline this season. So all in all, there was a lot of flashbacks in this episode. There really wasn't any fighting. There wasn't a lot of action. This was building character development all around, using the past and the present to build pretty much all of the characters into what's going to be propelled into this very next episode. So I'm very much excited. I think this was a very strong episode. I think the delivery from all the actors involved was great. This is one of my favorites. I think it was really, really well done. Like I said, you have scenes with Daniel where you're on the edge of your seat wondering, are you about to lose this character? You have Bullseye on the other hand where you're just dreading, assuming he's going to die. You have Vanessa practically dying and you don't know what Kingpin's going to do about it. You have all these situations, all these scenarios, and all these blended characters that are sort of mashed together into these storylines. This episode was so interesting. It's one of, I would say, the most complex episodes because there's so much involved and I didn't cover nearly half of it. I mean, there's so many layers to pretty much all the characters and all the storylines in this episode. So, yeah, I'm hyped for the rest of the season. We'll see where it's going. I think anyone who was hesitant from Born Again Season 1, I think you have very valid points to be hesitant with this season. But if you are giving this season a shot, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I think this season feels so much more closer to the original season of Daredevil than any of the others. I think this is one of the best seasons for not only Daredevil, but for Marvel TV. It's been incredible. The writing's incredible. It's proven, again, why Fisk is one of the best villains in Marvel as a character and from the actor's standpoint. Everything about it is just perfection. I've never had a problem with Kingpin, especially this season. So I'm looking forward to where the rest of the story's going. We know we got Jessica Jones coming up. There's always rumors. There's rumors of Defenders. There's rumors of Fisk taking this to a multiversal level. You can only go up from here. I mean, if anything, even if these theories don't really pan out, this storyline that this season is going with has opened so many opportunities that is kind of hard to predict where it's going to go because there's so many opportunities. So I've talked enough. Thanks for watching, guys. I can't wait to watch the next episode of this season. Maybe you can't wait to see it either, and I can't wait to review it after I've seen it. All right. Goodbye.